I can't give you a nice happy clappy talk, right? Because it's beyond bad. Yeah. So we're all in this together. Extinction Rebellion is, we're all crew, right? It's not like I've got all the answers, I'm just making some ideas up, and then you're going to come forward, and hopefully you're not going to give a big intellectual rant about green capitalism, right? You're going to talk about what's happening in your emotional life, right? And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to be right on or therapy-ish, I'm saying it because I'm also a social scientist, and I did a PhD, and I'm still doing a PhD, but it doesn't look like I'm going to finish it because I'm too busy. But in the middle, I started this PhD, and it was how to basically cause trouble effectively. That's the sort of joke title of it. There's a big posh title to it, but basically that's what it is. And halfway through that PhD, I was doing all this good intellectual academic stuff, self-interest and motivation, all this. And in the middle of it, I had a little bit of a mini nervous breakdown because I suddenly realised I couldn't deny to myself that it's all about the emotions, right? That's what gets people to sit in the road. It's not that they've read a book about green capitalism. We're not going to make this thing work by having more technical discussions about wind turbines, right? I fucking love wind turbines, but those days are gone. We need people to stand up and emote and go around the country to the village halls and the town halls and say to the ordinary people of this country, it's fucking over. It's over, right? With that sort of poof, And I've got a few things to say about the green movement. It's not going to be pleasant, right? But the green movement, I've been in it since I was 14, right? I went to my first Green Party conference when I was 15. I went to the bloody Green Gathering when I was about 16. It's I thought it was fantastic, I used to read this magazine called Green Line. Does anyone remember that? Right? I read it from cover to cover. I was obsessed. I was thinking, this is fucking great, right? But it's we've had 30 years of doing these discussions, haven't we? You go to a festival, you hear some guy like me stand up saying, we've got these problems, we're going to have wind turbines, it's all going to be fine if everyone does the right thing. And then you come back the following year and you find out that the world hasn't done the right thing, and there's some guy standing up telling you about wind turbines again, right? It just goes on year after year after year. And the reason why we're having this nervous breakdown is because we're coming to the end game, right? We're coming to the point where we thought we'd escape, right? If you're my age, I'm 53. 10 years ago, and there's this terrible thought I think everyone's had this thought who's about my age is, I'll get out before the shit hits the fan, right? I talked to this big trade union activist in London, right? Fantastic guy, amazing radical credentials, right? I said to him, there's this climate change shit. He said, oh yeah, that's all right because I'll be dead by then, right? So let's just accept we're not all heroes, are we? Right? We've got that selfish thing going on, which is beyond immoral, if you think about it. That's what we're talking about here, mass death. We don't want to talk about it for the same reason my relative said, well, I don't want to see the body. But there's another tradition, isn't there? Which is going, yeah, I want to see the body. I want to see what death is because I want to know what it means to be alive. There's something else going on. I'm just a bloody organic farmer, right? I don't have the right words for all this mystical stuff. But there's something going on. And that's why I can't do this nice slick talk to me 3 or 4 times a week. It's we're going to have mass starvation. So Roger, what did you do after university? Right? What's going on? I can't do those interviews anymore. I'm going to say that to Extinction Rebellion. I am not going to go into interviews anymore and just answer the question about what I'm going to do after university. There's something obscene about it. There is, right? I'm not doing that shit. If I go into hard talk, I'm just going to keep going on that point. It's fucked, it's over. The BBC should be going into rebellion. This should be closing down the programme so everyone can think about it, right? That's the human thing to do, which comes back to this point about what it is to be human. And my suggestion is, if you're an interviewer and you've just heard we're facing mass starvation, going on to the next question is not a human thing, right? And lastly, what social collapse means is war. War. What does that mean? It means that people like Boris Johnson and his class are going to have our kids going off to defend the Mediterranean from mass migration. They're going to have us being slaughtered for their privilege. Look at the 20th century. Read some history. This is what the elites do when times get hard. They send ordinary people to be slaughtered. And then there's the last taboo. Rape. Who's talking about rape? Came out a few years ago, didn't it? Like what's happening in the Congo. War, that's lots of men getting shot. No, what war means is lots of women getting raped. It's a big taboo. I mentioned this twice in Extinction Rebellion. I've been told not to mention it.
Mention it. Keep talking.
Fuck, I'm going to have to do it myself. I'm going to have to stand up at festivals and tell people they're fucked. Like, it's the last thing in the world I want to do. But I'm doing it because it's like, where else do I go? Do you know what I mean? Do I want to be sitting on my farm for another 3 years thinking I'm a complete shit because I haven't got the courage to do what has to be done? Which is why I'm saying those of us that are going to get arrested and go to prison, we're lucky in some sort of sense because we've made that sort of transition. It's a little bit messy, but there's some sort of transition going on.